So here's the deal, guys. A spending bill that had Trump's backing just totally flopped in the House of Representatives. It happened on Thursday, and now Congress is scrambling without a clear plan to stop a government shutdown that could really mess up Christmas travel for a lot of people. This vote. It exposed some deep cracks in Trump's Republican Party, a preview of what could be a recurring theme when they take control of the White House and both chambers of Congress next year. Trump had been pushing hard for lawmakers to tie up loose ends before he officially takes office on January 20, but nope, the more conservative wing of the GOP wasn't having it. They weren't about to support a plan that would raise spending and pave the way for adding trillions to the already massive $36 trillion federal debt. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button like this video and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. One of the outspoken critics, Republican Representative Chip Roy, went off. He said, "I am sickened by a party that campaigns on fiscal responsibility and has the temerity to go to the American people and say, you think this is fiscally responsible." Yeah, that's some internal party drama right there. The bill, it failed pretty spectacularly, 174 to 235. And this happened just hours after Republican leaders tried to rush it through to meet Trump's demands. Here's where it gets even messier. There was a bipartisan deal on the table earlier, but that got blown up after Trump and, wait for it, Elon Musk? Yes, Musk came out against it the day before. When reporters asked House Speaker Mike Johnson what the plan was after the failed vote, he was, let's just say, not super detailed. His response, "We will come up with another solution," right? Midnight Friday is the deadline, though. If they don't figure this out by then, a partial government shutdown kicks in. That means no funding for things like border enforcement or national parks, and over 2 million federal workers could see their paychecks delayed. Oh, and travelers? The TSA is warning about long airport lines during the busiest holiday season. Trump, of course, waited out. And after the vote on Truth Social, he wrote, Congress must get rid of or extend out to perhaps 2029 the ridiculous debt ceiling. Without this, we should never make a deal. Now about the bill itself. Because it was almost identical to the earlier version Trump and Musk had trashed. It would have extended government funding until March, included $100 billion for disaster relief, and temporarily suspended the debt ceiling. But here's the twist. Republicans stripped out other parts of the package, like pay raises for lawmakers and new rules for pharmacy benefit managers. They also threw in a 2-year suspension on debt limits, which would make it easier for Trump to push through those big tax cuts. He's been promising. Johnson had tried to frame it as a way to avoid chaos and set things up for major spending cuts under Trump's leadership. But Democrats, they were not having it. They called the bill a sneaky way to push through tax cuts that mainly benefit the super rich, like, you guessed it, Elon Musk. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries went off during the debate saying, "How dare you lecture America about fiscal responsibility ever?" Even if the bill had passed the House, the Senate, controlled by Democrats, was likely to reject it. Plus, President Biden was already against it, so it had slim chances anyway. Now let's talk big picture. Previous fights over the debt ceiling have shaken up financial markets because a U.S. government default would send shockwaves around the globe. Right now, the debt ceiling is suspended, but that deal technically ends on January. That's likely they probably won't have to deal with it until spring. Meanwhile, Trump has big plans to slash taxes if he's back in office, cuts that could reduce revenues by $8 trillion over 10 years. That's a lot of money, guys, and it would add even more to the debt unless there are major spending cuts. But here's a kicker. Trump's promised not to touch retirement and health benefits for seniors, which make up a huge chunk of the budget and are expected to grow even more in the coming years. For some context, the last government shutdown was during Trump's first term back in December 2018 and January 2019. So this isn't exactly uncharted territory. And then there's the whole Speaker Johnson angle. This guy's already had a tough time since taking the role last year after the far right wing of the GOP ousted Kevin McCarthy. Johnson's been leaning on Democrats to pass legislation when his own party falls short. They tried the same move here, but this time it just didn't work. So yeah, things are a mess. The clock is ticking, and we'll see if Congress can pull a rabbit out of the hat before the government shuts down. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.